There is a really powerful new moon and eclipse coming up this weekend. Now, the new moon will peak on December 3rd / December 4th, but we are already beginning to feel these very intense energies. The rule of thumb is 3 days before and 3 days after the peak of a particular lunation, you will be able to, as an energetically sensitive being, pick up on and at times be impacted by these energies. But this reading specifically isn't just any new moon reading. Here I am channeling specifically the twin flame collective. Those of us who are on a twin flame path in this lifetime and what we need to know about this coming new moon, what it is going to be bringing up for us and how it is going to be shifting us forward, catapulting us forward onto the rest of the month of December and into the new year of 2022. So I'm going to begin this reading by shuffling the Energy Oracle Cards deck. The extended version of this reading will be available to rent individually on withribbon.com, or of course it can be accessed through my Patreon page as well, and both those links will be in the pinned comment and description under this video if you find that the messages are resonating with you and you'd like to dive deeper. So as I was preparing for this reading, I specifically heard Spirit say, this new moon is coming to ask you questions. Now, specifically, I heard 3 questions. The first question is, what are you still afraid of? The second question is, what is holding you back or weighing you down? And the third question is, what are you still trying to control? So maybe already some of those questions are resonating with you, or you find your higher self, your soul self, kind of gently answering those questions within yourself, for yourself. And as I am shuffling, a card just flew out. And this card is Woman Holding a Heart in the reverse position. So right away, I feel like I'm speaking to a divine feminine here. But before we get into this, be sure to subscribe to this channel and also like the video if you haven't yet, because by liking and subscribing, you are actually virtually transmitting your energy to me wherever you are in the world, whenever you are listening to this reading, and that means I'm able to more easily pick up on your energy and channel more clearly for you and your situation. So what's going on with this divine feminine here? I hear divine feminine taking back her heart, taking back her power. This has absolutely been a recurring theme through my readings. Walking away in the reverse position. I heard 2 things. 1, walking away in order to return home to the self. And the second thing I heard is simply just coming home, but home is within, which I guess both of those are kind of the same message or very similar messages. As always, only take what resonates with you personally. I do channel many, many different energies and unions within the collective, so always use your intuition as your guide through these readings. But I do feel specifically a divine feminine that I've been channeling a lot recently in past readings, who has somewhat disconnected herself, or in some sense, quote unquote, walked away in the 3D from her twin flame. Of course, there is no true disconnect between twin flames. This is an energetically based soul connection. But I do feel this divine feminine may have, I heard, created boundaries, created some kind of distance or something in the physical. And victory in the upright position, and I see her really stepping into this kind of goddess-like energy, focusing on herself, rising in her power, focusing on her work. There could be a divine feminine who resonated with my last reading, feeling this kind of intense emotionality or even negative emotions, but I feel that even these negative emotions are bringing this overall positive shift, or going to, if they haven't yet, or maybe already, bringing these kinds of breakthrough moments, energetically speaking. Now, I do feel some of these energetic breakthroughs may not yet be manifesting physically in her life, but she's being asked to trust on this. happy family in the reverse position. So I'm seeing a divine feminine, and as I was speaking, another card fell out. Okay, so all tied up, kind of in a sideways position, and I instantly heard when I saw this card, longing to talk. This could be from a divine masculine. Hopefully we'll get into that later. But with happy family reversed, I actually felt this card like a divine feminine feeling as though something about her life trajectory in connection with like marriage or family has somewhat changed. This won't be for everyone, but here are a few different people I'm channeling here. For one of these people, it's like this feeling of, will I ever find anyone? Will I ever get married? Will I be alone forever? For someone who could be already married or could be going through some kind of a process of divorce, I feel like perhaps some landscape of their marriage or their closest intimate family relationships feels like it is changing. I heard changing too fast to handle. Let me know if that connects with anyone. And this message won't be for everyone, but I am seeing something in regards to structure with marriage, with family changing for some divine feminines out there in a way that feels, I heard it's like all falling apart so fast. I don't know how to handle it. They could be referring to themselves, like the way they're feeling about relationships falling apart or some kind of a marriage relationship, family relationships. I'm not really sure what this person is referring to. And I also feel it will be different for everyone listening. But with Garden in the Gate in the upright position and Goddess of the Moon reversed, I feel this divine feminine really beginning to protect her energy, rise in her power, and beginning to heal that wounded inner feminine energy. With Goddess of the Moon reversed, I didn't hear this as much as blocked as I did healing, shifting. It's like this goddess energy is what she is shifting into, but at times still feels a little bit disconnected from. Yeah, and the overarching card here is Door to Personal Healing and Happiness in the upright position. I just heard December 2nd today as I am recording this particular reading. It might actually feel like this kind of breath of fresh air, like this kind of almost like a portal to healing or to, I heard like a new life. You could be feeling this sense of like energetic relief or this kind of freshness about the energy, if that makes sense, after a potentially emotionally intense couple days. So let me know if that connects with anyone. I am going to reshuffle the cards here. And I really want to get into answering these questions because I feel like these are the key questions around the new moon. So what are you still afraid of? Let's ask the divine feminine first. What is the divine feminine still afraid of here? What is the divine feminine still afraid of? I'm feeling really guided to the Moonology deck. So let's head over there now. What is this divine feminine still afraid of? Work through your fears. Well, that's a bit obvious, isn't it? We were just talking about fears, and then the card says, work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Someone might be a Scorpio in this situation. That could be part of why this is coming up. For some reason, something about the image of the Scorpio on this card really caught my attention. For some reason, I heard confrontation. There could be a divine feminine who struggles with being confrontational, being positively assertive of herself, her ideas, potentially her beliefs, her opinions. And there could be something about this healing for a particular divine feminine, learning to be able to confront. I heard confront her fears, confront others. There's something about confrontation here. But specifically for work through your fears, I did hear face your fears. Like I'm feeling also from this card, for someone, it's like simply the idea of acknowledging these very deep-seated fears, specifically surrounding, I'm feeling this will come up later, but surrounding something to do with her twin flame connection. It's like a very deep-seated fear here that is very difficult to get to the bottom of. I'm hearing because it actually manifests as something else, which I know sounds kind of strange, but hopefully we'll get clarity on that. I feel like this divine feminine, for example, I'm feeling someone who has like this really deep-seated fear of abandonment that could manifest itself as control. That's just one isolated thing I'm channeling here. But what I'm getting as kind of an overarching overarching theme for this divine feminine is that sometimes the fears she has are really actually deeply unconscious and a bit hidden even from her conscious mind, because they manifest themselves as some kind of behavior or pattern that is so familiar to her, she doesn't even realize where it's coming from. So for example, it's like, again, in this specific example, being afraid of losing someone or losing something, manifesting itself as some kind of like control through a kind of, for example, being very type A, being very perfectionistic. This is just, again, one isolated example. It just feels kind of fitting here, but that may not resonate specifically for you. Take this however it applies to you. Step out of your comfort zone, North Node. So a fear coming up for this divine feminine is somehow connected to doing something that might make her uncomfortable. What could be potentially making this divine feminine uncomfortable? I'm seeing someone at like a holiday gathering. So there could be someone who struggles with feeling really different from their family members, perhaps because you are a highly spiritual being. The card Child of the Cosmos came out here. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. So potentially part of stepping out of your comfort zone for whoever I'm connecting with here could be simply remaining fully connected in with your worth and your true identity, your true soul purpose and passion here on earth, what you know to be true, holding to that knowing, holding your ground, even when potentially you are around family members who think differently than you, or even at times try to overlay their judgments on you. I'm also hearing this person is very sensitive, so they are sensitive to these judgments and these kinds of energies. But again, I was seeing this person at some kind of a holiday party or family gathering futuristically in the future, in the coming weeks, where perhaps part of these fears is them learning to continue embracing who they truly are, loving who they are, and protecting themselves from potentially negative vibrations, judgments, thoughts, or beliefs from others, even those that they care about. The second card is All Paths Lead Home, Inner Authority, Intuition, Turn Your Gaze Within. So yeah, there's something here about trusting yourself, really being able to clearly hear. And this is funny because as I was meditating, I was really hearing over and over that idea that, and I think I mentioned this in the last reading, but that our throat chakra energy isn't just healed through what we say, the energy we exude outward toward others, but also half of the equation when it comes to our throat chakra is how we are hearing, listening, and respecting our own inner voice, the clarity we have within ourselves, the way we are able to listen to ourselves. And I feel like that inner throat chakra healing, that throat chakra energy turned inward, is really a lot of what this divine feminine is healing, that she has feared. I heard something about like fearing her own intuition. So there could be a divine feminine who has actually even felt herself intuitively pulled in directions, whether it's in work and relationships. She feels this intuitive pull that I hear she doesn't know what to do with, because it feels, and of course the hostilities card came out. It could feel like this following of her intuition is either causing her to feel conflicted within herself, to have this inner hostility, inner conflict, or that she worries expressing herself, following her intuition in this way will somehow create conflict or hostilities with others. And I heard like you have to make a choice between listening to how you feel about you and what you know for yourself about your purpose here, about your life, and what other people think they know about you. And I feel like this choice isn't so much external as something that has to happen within the self, a solidifying of a kind of self-identity within the self, if that makes sense. So now let's ask the divine masculine. What is the divine masculine potentially still afraid of here? By the way, with having both an eclipse and a new moon, a lot of very powerful energies are swirling in the air. You may be feeling them depending on what kind of wave you're on right now emotionally, as highs, as lows, in many different ways, and depending on how you are personally impacted by these energies. So creating some kind of energetic hygiene ritual is so essential at this time, as with all times, but especially now. And as I often say, energetic hygiene can be anything that assists you in clearing your energy, kind of like taking a bath or a shower, but energetically speaking. In fact, bathing in itself can be a form of energetic hygiene as well as physical hygiene. But my favorite form of daily energy clearing is listening to meditating with subliminal meditations. I am so passionate about subliminals because in my own life, they have transformed my mindset, transformed my energy, and as a result, my life in the most profound ways, more so than any other tool I've really tried to apply to my life. And the reason for this is that subliminals contain affirmations that are targeted to the subconscious mind. And it's actually the subconscious that controls 95% of our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and therefore our outcomes in life. So by really shifting the thoughts in our subconscious, we can quite literally magnetize our energy for anything we desire to create or attract. So what you are seeing on the screen now is a screen recording of my website and soul passion project, soundandsoulful.com. On this website, I've created over 100 subliminals for quite literally any area of life imaginable, and I am always creating new ones for you guys as well. And so for twin flames specifically, I do have an entire section of subliminals for twin flames that you can explore. You can even create your own custom playlist with any of these subliminals. But specifically for today, in the spirit of the new moon, I really most highly recommend my new moon energy clearing subliminal. I will personally be listening to this one myself because I personally find myself feeling very affected by the new moon and full moon energies, which is why I've created subliminals for each of these. But the new moon subliminal specifically is meant to help you both clear your energy at this time, find clarity within yourself and through this new moon energetic experience, as well as assisting you in actually harnessing these energies toward whatever goal, dream, or aspiration you are setting for yourself at this time. It really helps you in kind of the metaphor I've been using a lot lately of the ocean and our emotions being like waves on the ocean. This new moon energy clearing subliminal is trying to, or it is a tool to help you in riding those waves toward whatever you desire rather than feeling pulled under by them. So the link to this new moon energy clearing subliminal is linked in the pinned comment and description box under this video. You can try out this subliminal or any that I've created completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website. And again, all of that is linked below. Now, as I was speaking there, the 7th chakra in the reverse position came out, the crown chakra reversed. And I was asking the divine masculine, what are you afraid of? And the divine masculine is clearly saying, I am freaked out by what is happening to me spiritually, by this spiritual awakening that I'm going through that I don't yet fully consciously understand. I heard ego death, but I'm going through this ego death, dark night of the soul. I feel like many things in my life are falling apart faster than I can handle them. And I'm becoming more awakened to my true purpose here, to my soul, nature, and essence, and who I came here to be, and even to this connection. But I'm still not really fully sure what to do to that. With that knowing, I feel this masculine kind of stuck in his own head through that knowing. It's like I'm beginning to increase my awareness, but I see the action here still blocked. So why is the divine masculine so afraid of this kind of spiritual awakening that he's going through? look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. This is Sagittarius season. There could be someone with a Sagittarius in their chart who's involved here. But actually with this card, I'm also kind of seeing it could be difficult for this masculine to see the bigger picture, kind of the opposite of this card. It's like his soul is guiding him to see this bigger picture, this wider perspective of the connection of his life, but he could be really struggling to, I'm so stuck in my day-to-day rituals, my day-to-day work, life, whatever that is. The people, I see this masculine feeling as though he is kind of living with one foot in two worlds, like in his head and in his heart. He's going through this massive energetic transformation through his spiritual awakening, but then in his day-to-day reality and existence, it feels like things are very 3D focused and actually pretty busy. So this leads to him, I hear daydreaming, like this masculine may be daydreaming a lot when he's at work or when he's with people, because again, it's like he's living in two worlds right now. And at the same time, I see the confidence card coming out here. Confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. So there could be a Leo involved here, someone with Leo in their chart. But alternatively, I see this. I actually saw this connecting to what the masculine is seeing right now from the divine feminine. As the divine feminine begins rising in her power, rising in her confidence, I feel like this masculine is being called upward. It's like divine feminine. If you are the one listening to this, then you rising in your power and confidence is creating the space, is energetically calling, beckoning your masculine to do the same, to continue rising as well. Whereas ironically, and we could get into this in a whole separate video, ironically though, this divine feminine feels at times like her rising in her power and confidence is somehow leaving her masculine behind. But remember, that is all a construction of your ego. By rising into your power more and more, rising into your confidence, what you are doing is actually holding the space for your masculine to be able to rise without trying to kind of energetically suffocate him or push him in some sense. It's like you're holding that space and at the same time radiating this powerful signal that is calling him up with you, that is beckoning him through this very intense spiritual awakening he is going through right now. And wow, guys, Child of the Cosmos came out for the masculine as well. So here we've got, of course, naturally the twin flame mirroring happening. The intelligence of the universe lies within you, as I read earlier, for the divine feminine, who also got this card. But the reason that I feel the divine masculine and feminine both pulled this card here is to remind us that our journey is intricately connected because we are within one another as twin flame counterparts. So I feel these cards were coming out both for the masculine and the feminine to remind us that regardless of our circumstances with our twin in the physical, we are both struggling with this conscious acceptance and full integration of our identity, our soul identity, this peeling back all of these layers, whether it's for the feminine potentially dealing with people around her, again, could be family members she's going to see around the holidays, people in her life who think differently from her, or whether it's the masculine who I feel is struggling with this much more internally within himself as he is trying to understand this spiritual experience and who he is becoming. But regardless of which side of this we find ourselves on, remember that as counterparts, we are always energetically in this together, supporting one another, assisting one another in healing, shifting, and evolving. So now let's move on to the second question. What's holding you back? So I'm going to ask the Divine Feminine first. Divine Feminine, what is holding you back right now that is coming up during this new moon this weekend? What is holding the Divine Feminine back? Woman holding a coin in the upright position. I heard financial empire, finances, business. So there could be a divine feminine who has really been actively working to, I heard, restructure her life. This could be a divine feminine working to start a business, working to grow her business or grow her career. I see her, like, I'm seeing this kind of graph that just seems to go up and up and up, like showing revenue or showing some kind of material success or measurable success for her in some kind of real 3D way. And I see that over the course of 2022. So if you are a divine feminine working to start a business, working for yourself in some way, or just restructuring your life or finances or business in some way, I do see this being really successful for you into 2022. But I feel as though with this what's holding you back card, this new moon may be calling you to release something in connection with this restructuring of your work or finances that could still be preventing you at the moment from fully stepping into your full potential. So what could potentially be holding this divine feminine back in work or finances or career that is coming up for healing? Whoa, a lot of cards just flew out. Let's try to narrow this down because I think 10 cards or something like that came out here. So what is the main thing that this divine feminine feels is holding her back? Contract in the upright position. Interesting. Usually we get the contract card for the divine masculine, some kind of karmic contract, some kind of pattern within herself. I don't feel like this karmic is a person. It could be for some, but I'm actually feeling this is more like some kind of pattern within this divine feminine that she is healing. What is this contract or this pattern? Let's see if we can pull an emotion card from the Soul's Journey deck. So what is this pattern that this divine feminine is healing or needs to heal that could have been holding her back in work? Doubts. Oh my gosh, guys, a wave of goosebumps. I release the need to know all the answers. So I specifically heard self-doubt. I feel like many divine feminines could be really healing these. I heard ancient, meaning even beyond this lifetime, this pattern of self-doubt. I'm seeing now this past life for a divine feminine was like a housewife in the 50s or something like that. And she gave all of her power away to her husband her whole life. And she never really fully woke up to who she was. She was really doubting herself her whole life and then actually passed away, transitioned later in life, still in this space of self-doubt. So then she chose to reincarnate in this lifetime to actually experience a kind of independence physically in the 3D for a time in which she would again be faced with all of those feelings of self-doubt. But this time she would make a different choice. She would make the choice to break this karmic pattern of self-doubt within herself. She would make the choice to believe in herself, to believe in her goals, to step into her power. I know that was so hyper specific, but I'm telling you that past life 50s housewife, some divine feminine needed to hear that. That was definitely for someone. So I want to know why this divine feminine is doubting or anything else we can know about this self-doubt situation. I feel like involved with this self-doubt, there could be something about planning. Like I hear trying to plan for the unplannable. It's almost like I see a divine feminine either within her work or within her connection or her business, trying to, as this card says, know all the answers or feeling like she needs to know specific outcomes or exactly how things are going to work out before she will move forward. And I feel like Spirit is guiding her in the opposite way, saying you need to move forward in faith in yourself first, and then the answers will come to you. That's like a powerful lesson she is learning. Journey in the reverse position. I'm actually going to read a little bit about this card from the guidebook. You may desire to move or just get away for a while, but the reverse of this card could indicate a delay or even a cancellation. Something could be standing in your way, or perhaps lines of communication may get crossed. Don't let the potential changes upset you. refocus your energy, and be flexible enough to alter your schedule as needed. That might be the message. Be flexible to alter your schedule, and I heard schedule as timelines as needed. Now, specifically, this is so specific, probably just for a few people, but I am feeling someone, a divine feminine, who specifically has kind of been daydreaming or wanting to just run away. I heard go off the grid. That might connect with someone, but I'm also hearing someone has been looking at rentals or Airbnbs or even new homes or apartments in totally different places. I'm hearing move across the country or something like that. So there could be a divine feminine who has been daydreaming about this, who has been kind of thinking about doing this. And for some reason, I'm not really hearing guidance on whether or not you should do this. I feel you can only really find that guidance within yourself. But what I am hearing is, regardless of whether you go or stay, be sure that the first journey you take is the one within yourself. Because I am hearing this word of caution that there could be a divine feminine who is externalizing this need for change. So it's the need for change is actually a change that needs to happen within the self, but she is externalizing this need for change by thinking, I need to go on this huge trip, I need to completely move locations. And I hear Spirit saying that this move in locations may actually be what you're intuitively guided to do. That's for you to decide. But in order to hear your intuition about this clearly, you first need to rule out the possibility that you are just considering this radical change, because the change actually has to happen within yourself. What kind of change has to happen? I'm hearing independence, enjoying life more. It could be this divine feminine is imagining that if she lived in this new place, she would suddenly feel like she belonged or fully accepted herself or was living her best life. But I feel like she's being guided that regardless of whether she does this move or trip or not, it's really important for her, again, to take that metaphorical inner journey within herself first, to begin living her best life from within, by making this shift within, by prioritizing herself wherever she is today, starting now. Patience in the upright position. And of course, the final message here is simply just be patient with the process. I know you guys probably get sick of the patience card coming up over and over, especially my beautiful fellow divine feminines out there. We get the patience card in some position over and over through these readings because we have had a tendency to want to push things forward, step into what is twin flames. We sometimes call that chasing energy. And we're really being guided to fully heal that dynamic by having patience, meaning the flexibility to allow our timelines to be released and then divinely restructured by our higher self, by the universe, instead of adhering to and becoming so married to these very intense, strict, rigid timelines created from our ego. Door to Spirit in the reverse position. Interesting, a block in intuition. I feel now we've just hurried ourselves along to the divine masculine because I'm strongly getting a masculine energy from this card. So we talked about what's holding the divine feminine back. What is coming up around this new moon that's holding the divine masculine back? And right away, we're getting Door to Spirit reversed, some kind of block in intuition. I want to know why this divine masculine isn't hearing his intuition. Guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. I also heard regret from this card. What is this masculine feeling guilty about? That's actually what I want to know here. What's making this masculine feel guilty? Why is the masculine we're connecting with here feeling guilty about something? The temple path in the upright position. 1212 might be a significant number for you. I hear this masculine actually saying, I feel guilty for not being further along in some sense, whether this is further along in life, on his spiritual journey, or specifically with his twin flame. It's like I feel like on some level, This could also be a masculine who's feeling guilt for following his spiritual path for some reason. There could be other attachments here that are somehow preventing this masculine from following what his soul is guiding him to, what he feels he needs to do or wants to do with himself or his life. Why is this masculine feeling guilty to follow his temple path, his spiritual path? Why is there guilt involved here? Broken heart in the reverse. This is really interesting. I heard I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to break anyone's heart. Now, this actually could be non-romantic. This could be I'm getting some sense of responsibility from this masculine. Is there someone that this masculine is responsible for financially outside of his family, or perhaps a sibling or parents? This also could be a romantic karmic situation or some other romantic situation, but I feel that won't be for everyone. That may only connect with some who are listening. Use caution for these messages specifically, because I'm feeling I'm tying in with a very, very small portion of the collective. So this will not be for everyone. You will know if it's for you, but I do feel a masculine here who actually is feeling guilt surrounding his attachments to others, whether it's a workplace, a boss, friends, a karmic situation, someone he feels unnecessarily responsible for. Of course, I'm not talking about his children here, where we naturally have a responsibility. I mean, someone who should be responsible for themselves, but this divine masculine feels a feeling of I owe them, or I'm responsible for their well-being, or something like that. Again, this won't connect with everyone. Just let me know if that resonates with you. And yet this masculine is feeling pulled along his temple path to something that, again, he's been a little bit resistant to, not fully listening to his intuition about whatever this situation is. Again, because of these feelings of guilt that are blocking him, surrounding potentially feeling he owes someone, feeling responsible to someone, or fearing hurting someone else in his life. Again, that's probably just for a few people, but let me know if that connects with you. A time for healing, balsamic moon. So overall, this might feel like a time where the masculine is a bit more silent in the 3D, or even in his life, he might feel like he's not really making progress or moving forward fast enough. Again, that feeling of, I'm not moving fast enough on my temple path, and even a guilt associated there. But I do see that the reason, it's reminding me of that quote, if things feel stuck in a certain area of your life, know that that is the area of your life in which you are going through a very deep level energetic healing transformation. And that is why things appear stuck on the surface, because they have to heal beneath the surface first, energetically first. So this question is approaching 40 minutes, and there is going to be an extended version that I want to leave some time for. So I'm going to save the third question, what are you trying to control, which we will answer from both the divine feminine and divine masculine perspective in the extended. In the extended reading, I will also be channeling specific messages from both the divine feminine and divine masculine to one another, some of which will also be love related. And of course, the link to the extended is under this video in the pinned comment and description. I am going to close this reading as I usually do with a Rumi oracle card. So the card I pulled here is the all-encompassing hands, and I'm going to read from the guidebook for this card. You are the essence of my existence. Who am I? A mirror in your hand. Whatever you do, I will do. I am your irresistible reflection. Guys, already, if that is not a twin flame poem, I don't know what is. With every breath, I feel my heart beating with yours. In your joy, I am exuberant. In your sadness, I become bitter. If you are grace, I become grace. My joy is when I am bewildered by your beauty and taste the sweetness of love on your lips. If I pick a rose without you, it becomes a thorn in my hand. If I am the thorn, I become a rose in your hand. Rumi. I have held your hand in mine for so long that I have long since ceased to distinguish where your sacred flesh once felt separate from mine. This sacred grasp pulses with love divine, and there is one hand, holding and being held, one being, loved and loving, though we may appear by less ecstatic angels to be two. The love that gives us this handfast, beloved, is so powerful that we spin the entire universe upon its axis, and still our hands would be joined, gently and yet enduringly, in unfailing love. What a beautiful place to close out this reading. I really hope something resonated with you personally. Under this video, in the pinned comment in description, I have left links to, of course, the extended version of this reading, as well as the subliminal I would really recommend for this next few days through this period of the new moon. So that new moon energy clearing subliminal and the links to the extended reading are all under this video in the pinned comment and description. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, magical rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next reading.